Hey, what's going on? This is Jake with Walk-Squawk. All right, so we have, a little probably mix open here. We have the big USDA June 30th Stocks and Acreage Report. Big surprises possible ahead of 4th of July fireworks. All right, so let's look at what the report can lean here. Um, First up, let's look at corn. Analysts are leaning bearish on feed and residual use. Old crop feed demand looks overstated by about 100 to 135 million bushels. Third quarter feed use is estimated at 890 million bushels, down 2% from last year, but exports stayed solid. So the market wants to see if that offsets weaker feed. So the estimate for June 1st corn stocks just under 4.7 billion bushels, down from last year's 4.99. All right, let's talk about beans. Crush was strong, a record for the quarter at 614 million bushels. Exports good too, near the 3-year high. That said, the residual use going to be a wild card. Has boringly consistently lately, so not much surprise expected here either. Estimated stocks for beans are at 967 million bushels, basically flat year over year. And on to wheat. Feed use likely a bit higher than the USDA's been printing, so final wheat stocks could slide down by 20 to 30 million bushels under the current guesses. June 1st, wheat stocks are penciled in around 805 million bushels, up from last year. Now, let's look at the acreage side. The spring went off handedly with any, spring planting went off with like basically without a hitch, but don't want to knock on wood yet, or let's knock on wood. So don't expect any big prevent plant surprises. Corn acreage could end up at big crops get bigger, 95.6 million, a touch higher than March intentions. Soybeans might get nudged higher too, 83.8 million. History says corn acres in June reports tend to come in higher. Beans lower than trade estimates. Something to watch. So why does this matter? The June report is infamous for big surprises. 8 out of the last 11 corn years for corn, stocks reports missed the trade guess by 100 million bushels or more. Combine that with holiday shortened weekend, non-farm payrolls on Thursday, GDP, PCE, and you got a recipe for some real two-way fireworks. So let's not try to get our hands blown off too much before the fun of the 4th of July here. Also, weather was good enough here this weekend. And also, I was hearing more rumblings about the producer tax credit on the 45Z. The latest Senate bill put foreign feedstocks back at zero, but canola is considered domestic under the USMCA. So canola gets full tax credit. Stuff like the UCO gets zero. However, it's rumors that, once that we, one thing that we do know about this kind of stuff, it's not done. It's not set in stone, but this is just what I'm hearing out of the market. All right, let's have a good one.